Hey everyone, welcome back to round 7 of the 2018 Chess Olympiad. So in this video, I will be covering the game between Wesley and Marin Bosiocic. So I hope I pronounced that name correctly. This game was played on table 2, board number 2 in the matchup of the United States versus Croatia. So in this game, Wesley had white and Marin had the black pieces. So without further ado, let's jump into the game. Wesley opens with e4, we have c5, knight of 3, d6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, knight of 6, knight c3, a6, so Marin goes for the knight of variation, bishop e3 from Wesley, e5, knight b3, bishop to e6, bishop to e2, bishop e7, and here castling seems like a normal move. Also, another idea is to play queen d2 with the intention of castling queenside. But instead, Wesley plays h4, so he is not backing down in this game. And black responds with h5. So this prevents white from further advancing this pawn, but it has the drawback of weakening the g5 square. Knight d5 from Wesley. So this pawn looks like it can be taken, but here if black takes, then white goes bishop to b6. And after something like queen to c8, then you play knight c7 check, winning the exchange. So here black takes the knight with the bishop. We have e takes d5, knight b d7, c4 from Wesley, a logical move, further strengthening this pawn on d5. And here a typical idea for black would be to play b5, trying to undermine white's pawn center. And if that is taken, white does win a pawn, but now d5 becomes a weakness. And for the cost of a pawn, black manages to open up the a file for his rook. But instead here black plays g6, trying to defend this pawn, giving him the option of castling kingside. g3 from Wesley, so trying to stay solid as well. We have b6, so with ideas of playing knight c5, knight d2. This frees up the pawn so that it might come to b3 in the future to support c4. a5 from Marin. Black is trying to secure the b4 square before playing something like knight to c5. And here f4 from Wesley, so trying to bust open the center and also open up the f file. Queen c8 from black, so hoping that after white castles, which he does, then after knight c5, then the queen is eyeing to come into white's position. We have king g2 preventing that from happening. And here rook to a7 from black with the idea of defending f7 if the f file opens. And oftentimes having a rook on the 7th rank can be a good defensive resource. But here the black king is still stuck in the center. And the computer actually thinks that castling kingside is better instead of leaving the king in the center. But okay, we have rook to a7 from black, and here queen to c2 from Wesley. So he wants to play f5 and open up black's king. We have bishop d8, so this opens up the rook's defense on f7, and here Wesley pushes forward with f5. So you don't really want to take this pawn as black because you make things easy for white. After rook takes f5, now he is ready to play rook to f1. So here we have rook g6 preparing to meet pawn takes pawn with rook takes g6. Wesley plays rook to f5 preparing to double on the f file. And here black's position is already very dangerous, so he tries to somehow get some counterplay with b5, hoping that if c takes b5, then black goes knight takes d5. But Wesley doesn't play that. Instead here he plays simply doubles on the f file. We have rook to c7, so hoping for some counterplay if the c file opens up. But here simply bishop takes h5 from Wesley. After knight takes, rook takes, now white is threatening to give check on the back rank. Therefore, rook to g8 from black. And here queen to h7 from Wesley, entering the position. Here if black plays rook to f8, then simply bishop to h6, winning the exchange, and white still has a very strong attack. So queen to g4 from black, trying to defend this rook. And here a very nice move from Wesley. He plays rook to g5, cutting the queen's defense off this rook. So if bishop takes g5, then you simply take the rook, and then you take the pawn on f7. And well, the only move is bishop to e7, then you simply take the queen, and well, black is soon getting checkmated as well. So here we have rook takes g5 from black, and after bishop takes g5 in this position, Marin Bosiocic resigned the game. White's immediate threat is to play queen to g8, followed by taking this bishop. If black tries bishop g5, then simply you play queen to g8, then you take on f7 with the rook, then you take the queen. So here king d7 is the best move for black, but well, of course this still loses. White has a completely winning position after you take on f7 with the queen. And king c8, then here you play queen to g8, so this threatens the pinned bishop. And if black defends with rook d7, you play rook to f8, piling on the pinned piece. And white doesn't really need to worry about a move like queen to e2, because after king to h3 there are no more checks for black. So after rook to f8, if black plays knight to b7, here white has a very nice resource, c5. So simply threatening to go c6, and if that is taken, you simply play queen to e6. So here if you don't take the queen, if you play queen to h5, then this is going to be disastrous for black. Bishop takes, knight takes, this is just one of the lines. Here you give a check on c6, and this knight cannot take because it is pinned. And if rook c7, then queen a8, king d7, then queen takes d8 is checkmate. So if after queen to e6 you play queen takes e6, then after the recapture and after this rook moves, then e7 wins a piece for white. A great game from Wesley So in a very sharp position. Wesley has been having a great tournament thus far, scoring 6 out of 7 points. At the moment, Caruana is still playing his game against Ivan Saric, but the US has already managed to win this matchup with a score of 2.5 to half. So on table 1, Azerbaijan drew all their games against Poland, so that means at the moment Azerbaijan are the current leaders of the tournament. They have 21 total board points, I believe. So if Caruana manages to win this game, then the US will be joint leaders with Azerbaijan. So that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed the game, and if you do, please subscribe for more future content. Thank you for watching and have a great day.